World. My pleasure on behalf of the Lekan Bakare Foundation to warmly welcome you to this high-level dialogue that we have convened in alignment with the ongoing Conference of Parties, generally known as COP as an acronym, the 30th edition going on in Belém, Brazil. The world leaders are gathered in person, and we are also here virtually, to shape the next decade of climate action. And so we are also convened here to support one of the planet's most vital, yet very, very much undervalued ecosystem, and that is the oceans. My name is Esther Babatunde, and I'm the Senior Programs Manager here at the Lekan Bakare Foundation, and I will be your moderator on today's webinar. So for us here at LBF, for those who are just joining us and are wondering, what does LBF do? What do we stand for? And also to reiterate again, for those who are very much familiar with us. So we champion sustainable ocean and climate initiatives. And our work is with young people, policymakers, governments, communities, and we do this together to drive tangible impact in alignment with SDG 14, which is life below water. And knowing fully well that the SDGs are cross-cutting, so as we are solving 14, we're also solving the education aspects, climate action, and all of that. So our project very much focuses on environmental resilience, youth leadership, and a lot of solutions that are very much scalable. So this way, we bridge the local and the global efforts. So today's theme is oceans at the heart of climate action, and we'll be discussing on how we can strengthen the blue economy for a very resilient future. And this is a critical time, if you ask me. So as COP30 unfolds, currently ongoing, and it's so good to know that we have two of our distinguished participants, speakers rather, that are live there, and we are going to definitely hear comments from them before we go into the keynote speech. As it unfolds, we know that oceans, it remains very central to climate mitigation and adaptation. And, we know that it is very, very much under-discussed as much as it is under-financed as well. So this webinar, it seeks to explore how innovative and collaborative approaches can strengthen Nigeria and Africa's blue economy. I mean, Nigeria is a giant of Africa.
You're muted, ma.
Yeah, so and how it can, I hope the cost is not okay, how it can support sustainable livelihood. So in order to do a little bit of ice breaking, I'll be looking into the charts and to ask questions from our participants. So when we say the oceans are not just bodies of water, they are lifeblood of our economies, of our communities and ecosystem. Do you agree with me? Can I have a yes or no? So it's a good way to know if we have everyone that is very much aligned with us in this conversation. So I'll be checking the Q&A and the chat. So feel free to use the chat so that we can have this conversation ongoing. So in your own opinion, as an attendee, do you think that the oceans, do you agree with the theme of this webinar that the oceans are not just bodies of water? They are like the lifeblood of our economies, our communities, and our ecosystem. So I'll be looking at the chat to see the various reactions that we have. So let's get a little bit of conversation ongoing from our speakers over there in Brazil. Mark, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Hello, good morning from Belém.
Yeah, good afternoon from Nigeria. So would you like to give us a couple of, just as an icebreaker, actually, we are not yet diving into the conversation, how it's going over there in Belém, some tips, how has the conversation been for 8-9 days now, just to catch up virtually as well.
Yes, definitely happy to share. I'm here in Belém for COP30, and it's been an exciting COP for the ocean so far. It's been a lot of debate around where the next COP will be. It is like the gossip of the town, whether COP31 will be in Turkey or in Australia. And if neither of them can come to agreement, if it will instead just be hosted in Germany at the UN Climate Change, an opportunity for Australia and the Pacific to represent ocean ambition at COP31, and it doesn't sound super positive for COP31 prospects in Australia at the moment, but that's word on the street. And then in terms of what else is going on here at COP31, I'm at COP30, the COP30 presidency has been very engaged so far in ensuring that the ocean is represented in the global climate agenda. At the very beginning of COP is the World Leaders Summit. First speaker that they had was a climate scientist with the World Meteorological Organization. The second speaker was the COP30 Special Envoy for the Ocean. The third speaker was the president of the COP in Paris, and the Paris Agreement was formed. And then it was President Lula of Brazil. So for the ocean to be represented by the Special Envoy for the Ocean for COP30 at the very beginning of the World Leaders Summit is a very positive sign that Brazil is looking to ensure that the ocean is well represented as an important theme and outcome of this year's COP. So I look forward to sharing more insights with you all on the panel and learning from you all as well.
Thank you so much. That's really good to hear. Without further ado, let's jump right in, because I can't wait to hear how that you have to unfold for us as the voice of the young person and the young people here in this webinar. So right about now, we would go into the keynote address. And it's my honor to introduce our keynote speaker, Mr. Bankole Olorutoba. He leads the Nigeria Climate Innovation Center. The NCIC is a leading national hub, and they support climate-focused startups and entrepreneurs that are driving solutions in renewable energy, waste management, climate-smart agriculture, water innovation, and circular economy. So today we'll be addressing us on how the blue economy can drive resilience and climate innovation for Africa's future. Over to you, sir. So let's
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Esther. Am I audible enough? Can everyone hear me?
Yeah. Yes, you are audible. We can hear you and we can see you, sir.
All right, great. Thank you again for inviting me this morning, or rather this afternoon, as your keynote speaker for this wonderful session. It's quite good to know that conversations and negotiations are going on at COP, and hopefully we can get to a better or a more functional decision on how to move COP presidency forward, or locations forward. So permit me to say good afternoon to everyone who is part of this conversation, from our panelists to our participants and also our special guest. It's a privilege to join you today and also to discuss this timely conversation about the central role of the ocean in both climate change and our livelihood. As we all know, the ocean has become a mainstream economy, in the last 10 years. And these days it's no more captured under just water and also under transportation, but now feeds as a whole economy on its own. And that continues to show us, the need to be able to accept ocean as a central part of our existence as human beings. On this blue-green planet, I believe that without the ocean, life will definitely be unbearable. And the ocean has shown itself to be a major contributor to so many things, to our climate, to our temperature, to our livelihood, to our innovations, and also to nature as a whole. And this is not just something that we take for granted, right? It is something that has shown to be of immense value. and something that has continuously, continued to show humans that, without protecting livelihood in the oceans, a whole lot of communities will go out of existence. With the impact of climate change, and the ongoing conversations happening in COP, it is very clear that we also have to put into context and also into, all of our constant engagement that there are lives and there are families living around the coastal communities, in different parts of the world. And these coastal communities are not being taken care of. So we need to continuously look for more ways of protecting marine life and also protecting coastal communities, while at the same time opening up more business opportunities for every country. As these conversations are going on in COP, we need to also put at the back of our mind that we need to make sure that this can translate into tangible commitment. Tangible commitments in terms of how do we improve research around ocean and marine life? How do we improve knowledge capacity within the blue economy, particularly for the global south and also emerging economies? How do we improve the financing, around activities that have to do with ocean? How do we make sure that coastal communities also feel that they are part of what we're doing, across the world? Mind you, if you look at history, coastal communities are always about the first groups of people that welcome visitors from far and away. So again, how do we make this community know that they are part of a thriving ecosystem, part of an emerging economy, and also that their contributions and their knowledge about the ocean will continue to to help in solving many challenges facing ocean and blue economy globally. It is not a new thing to say that the blue economy, presents a whole lot of opportunity that goes beyond fishing and shipping. In the near time, we have seen renewable energy also popping out of the ocean. We've seen sustainable, aquaculture, and we've seen marine biotech, technology. We've seen tourism, we've seen circular solutions and programs, and we've seen that the marine ecosystem can generate a whole lot of jobs, and as well protect biodiversity, build resilience, in all of our, in our economy. But there's still a huge gap around, local knowledge harnessing. We need to be able to create a system where, coastal communities, local knowledge, can be captured, can be processed and also shared, to enable us drive, innovation and find long-lasting, solutions to, to our different ocean bodies. So I want us to engage in this conversation today by constantly focusing on solutions, and not to not to continually remind ourselves of the problems, because the future of Africa and the global ocean depends on all of us, and it depends also on how do we translate the talks to do's. I would like to commend the organizers of COP, which is the UN, and all country bodies, the government of Brazil, and also commend our team here at Lekan Bakare Foundation for convening this conversation and also bringing together diverse, voices to highlight the centrality of oceans in our climate, climate action. I'd like to thank Esther and her team, for ensuring that we are constantly reminded and filled with the right knowledge, on how do we tackle ocean challenges and also build capacity of the younger ones coming up. I think the Lekan Bakare Foundation have done quite a lot in ensuring knowledge in local communities, coastal areas, and also finding the right kinds of innovation that can help to protect many of these indigenous communities. So I look forward to hear what the outcomes of these sessions will look like. And I hope that by the time we all go back to all of our daily affairs, we can continue to see the ocean as a whole new world entirely, the way we see space, and also continue to dream of how we can further explore and also get to learn more about this ocean. And for me, I hope we get to go further than those who are, than those who attempted, a couple of months back. May their souls rest in peace. But we believe that the ocean still holds a whole lot of, information for us. Thank you, and continue to stay blue. Have a great day.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Mr. Bankole, for those insightful remarks that you have shared with us. You have highlighted the opportunities that we have, as well as the challenges in Africa's blue economy. And then you have also encouraged us to focus on the solutions and not just remind ourselves of the problems. Yes, so this is why we have convened this gathering, for us to discuss solutions and also hear from experts. And we have a very diverse panel who will be leading us in this conversation. So it's let me check the chat to see the comments that we have so far before we go right into the panel discussion. Yes, I see a comment that says, I strongly agree the ocean needs to be protected. You're correct, Karim Yoda. The Blue Economy Nigeria says, Blue Economy is about system thinking. If we intend to achieve ocean prosperity, we have to act in a non-linear thinking. I agree. And then we have Iola Babalola saying, protecting marine life is protecting coastal communities, and we can in turn term it as protecting human life and livelihood. Thank you so much, Mr. Bankole. Thank you, Yola. And as we dive into the panel discussion, if you have questions you should definitely have questions. We cannot bring these very, very well-experienced and sought-after persons and you say, oh, you do not have questions. So they are very much ready to answer your questions. So make them available in the chat so that they will be answered at the right time. So who is excited as we are moving into this panel? I'm very excited as well. I mean, Mr. Bankole has opened the window. He has declared the event open and he has given us a very, very good keynote speech that we are going to ride on as we enter into this discussion. So today we are joined by a very distinguished and esteemed panel of experts. It's a diverse one, like I've said, from government to research and academia, from youth networks, and from civil society. So they will be bringing that diverse perspective. They say our differences makes us beautiful. The different ideas, different perspectives that we have is what we'll put together that will make this whole thing mixing, that will make the blue economy thrive more. And they will do that on ocean resilience, the blue economy again, and then climate action. So first of all, as I invite my panelists, I'm going to briefly read their bio. I mean, if I go on and on to cite their biography, it's going to take the whole day because these are well-established people in their various field of industry. So as I read briefly, please just show some love on them, react before we go into the discussion proper. So first of all, I'll be welcoming Dr. Joseph Onaja. I know a lot of us have heard about him. He's the Director General of the Nigerian Conservation Foundation and is a leading authority in conservation biology and environmental management. Dr. Onaja holds a PhD from the AP Leventis Theological Research Institute, University of Jos, in collaboration with St. Andrews University in the United Kingdom. Is a participant in the US State Department's IVLP on Protected Planet in 2017. Dr. Onaja has mobilized over 100 million naira for conservation and community development projects across Nigeria, focusing on biodiversity, forest preservation, wildlife protection, and climate advocacy. It serves on the National Forestry Trust Fund, Nigerian Park Service, and National Climate Change Commission. So that's a very brief bio of Dr. Onaja. Thank you so much, sir. And then I would go ahead to cite the biography of Dr. Ngozi Oguguah. She's a Chief Research Officer from NIOMR, one of our esteemed partners, and she's a marine biologist and also a member of ASLO. She's a homegrown she's a sea researcher at the Nigerian Institute of Oceanography and Marine Research Institute, Lagos. She has over 14 years of experience. 14 solid years of experience in marine biology and environmental pollution. She's a committed environmental justice advocate and mentor. She works at the intersection of science, policy, community engagement with research interests in marine pollution, fisheries biology, ocean governance, and of course, the blue economy. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for honoring our invites, and thank you for, being willing and open to share with us from your very abundant wealth of knowledge. And next, I'm going to be reading Mark's bio. Mark Eva is a global policy advisor and also with the Sustainable Ocean Alliance, one of the global leading organizations in the ocean space as well. Since 2016, that's COP26, Marx has led the SOA's delegation to the UNFCCC. He spoke at the plenary of the first ever ocean climate dialogue, and he moderated the second dialogue in person during the UNFCCC's semi-annual SB intersections. Mark has been a key contributor to major ocean climate initiatives, including the Ocean and Coastal Tourism Breakthroughs. This year, Mark launched an independence campaign called Commit to Ocean, which hopes to blend social media, strategic advocacy, and community building to create a groundswell of support for ambitious ocean climate outcomes at COP30. Mark hopes to contribute his experience in navigating the ever-growing COP ecosystem to prepare his fellow youth delegates for how to make the most out of their time in Berlin, which is also to say that going to Brazil is not just for the vibes and just for the picture ops or photo ops. It is showing that we have young people who are ever prepared to make sure that we make the most of it to protect the planet and the people therein. Thank you, Mark, for honoring our invites. And then I'm going to be reading from our very own Mr. Olariobaju Shashore. So he's the head of Marine Waste Services in Loma. Loma is also one of our very supportive partner at LBF, and he leads the initiative focused on sustainable marine waste management and cleaner waterways across Lagos State. He has a BSc and an MBA. He brings both technical expertise and strategic leadership to advancing circular economy solutions in waste operations. Is a chartered member of the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management, CIPM. Mr. Sashiri has championed community-driven waste reduction and environmental protection programs, contributing to LOMA's mission of creating a cleaner, safer, and more sustainable Lagos through innovative marine waste intervention. Thank you so much. Can I see your reactions? Why are you not loving up on this very beautiful and amazing panelist? Oh my God. So, well, even before the discussion has started, I'm seeing questions in the chat. This is interesting. It shows that our attendees have gone ahead to read about the bio of our speakers. I mean, I really look forward to this very insightful conversation. So I'll be starting with our DG. DG, sir. Let me see. Dr. Onaja, are you there?
Oh,
Okay.
hello, I'm here. Yeah.
All right, sir. So I said we'll be starting with you, and I mean we know that currently you are in. This has featured a lot of discussions and agreement on ocean finance and biodiversity conservation. So far over there, can you please highlight key commitments and policies that have emerged from COP that are very much relevant for us in Nigeria and Africa at large?
Okay, thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, good. Yeah. So the negotiations are still on and are still ongoing, and no concrete agreement has been reached yet. So we're still moving on. But what is interesting for Nigeria and the global south is the issue of loss and damage, which we don't have traction yet. We don't have much money coming in yet as we expected that will be. And another one that is of interest to me, that's one I am negotiating on behalf of the government, is the issues of the synergies between the Rio Trio, as called the Rio Trio, that is synergies between climate change, biodiversity, and desertification. That is the UNFCCC, UNCBD, and UNCCD. So that three of them will be able to talk to each other instead of doing at silos, because the issues of climate change the issues of biodiversity loss and the issues of land degradation are all interconnected. So there's no point dealing with them as individuals, but coming together and handling them together. We'll be able to have more synergies and be more impactful than that. And whatever climate action that is going to be taking place shouldn't have adverse effect on biodiversity or on the land. So that's the kind of thing that we're pursuing here. And we're hoping that in the next few days that is left of the COP, we'll be able to see more, the presidency announcing more decisions that will be coming forward. And I must remind us that this COP, we came here because this COP is a COP of implementation, the COP of action, not too much talk. A lot of talks have been happening for the past 29 edition. So this is the COP of implementation. How much is the implementation going to happen in terms of mobilizing finances, in terms of action on the ground? We are in the heart of the Amazon. How is the climate, how is the nature going to be at the heart of climate action? Because we are seeing clearly what the Amazon is doing. And luckily for us, we are also bordering the Atlantic Ocean, even in the city of Belém. So all of these things come together in this COP so that we'll be able to see concrete actions on the ground. I'm glad when Mr. Lontroba was talking about, giving his keynote, he talked about innovative steps that we're going to be taking. These are some of the things that we need to be seeing when it comes to not just ocean conservation, not just biodiversity conservation, but as we move forward in an integrated manner, we'll be able to move with that. So we are hoping that concrete steps, concrete decisions will start coming up probably from today, tomorrow, and Friday towards the end of COP. I will keep our ears on the ground. I will be able to update those of you who are not here with us. Thank you.
Very important, sir. Yes, thank you so much. In fact, if there's nothing that I've taken from this introduction, COP30 is the COP of implementation. So let us take note of that. We're now tying climate into biodiversity and desertification. So we're not addressing issues in silos because we know that climate change is cross-cutting. So why not look at it from the holistic angle rather than solving each, as different problems? Okay, interesting. Let's move forward to our Chief Research Officer here. So she's going to speak to us from the academia side, and also leveraging our experience and our expertise, over the years in the academic aspect. So, Dr. Ngozi, ma'am, how can marine research from Nigeria inform the strategies for strengthening the blue economy? Now that Dr. Onaja has told us that the ongoing conversations in COP, the discussion now is how we can tie these three together because he is also representing the government of Nigeria. So how can the research institution also inform those strategies that we need to strengthen this economy now and ocean-based climate solutions for us to have a very, very good, outcomes out of this ongoing conversation we currently have in Brazil? Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Let me start by saying that marine research from Nigeria offers crucial insights that can inform the strategies to strengthen blue economy and advance ocean-based climate solution, particularly in the context of the ongoing COP30 discussions. And being that the priorities include establishing a blue finance window within the UNFCCC to scale dedicated finances for ocean climate solutions and supporting international collaboration for expanding ocean observation. There is need for evidence-based approaches and regional cooperation to reduce changes in understanding ocean carbon uptake and marine ecosystem changes. So let's come to Nigeria, right? Nigeria boasts significant marine resources. This includes 853 kilometers of coastline, one of the world's largest wetlands, and coastal and marine ecosystem that covers over 70,000 square kilometers. So the marine and blue economy sector in Nigeria has an untapped potential estimated at $296 billion. And it has a goal to generate up to 20 billion annually and create roughly 2 million jobs. So Nigerian marine research is positioned to inform climate solutions across several key areas. One, coastal ecosystem conservation and blue carbon. These are the mangroves, coral reef. Well, we have a little bit of coral reef. So then the fisheries, which in Nigeria is estimated at $59.5 million in 2018. And the fish supplies 60% of protein in many developing countries. So the Nigerian research community is a community-based fishery management, aquaculture development for resilience and traditional fishing knowledge systems. And this is where our focus, where our research focuses it. And it aligns with the COP30 focus on blue foods, showcasing efforts to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and support climate adaptation in fisheries and aquaculture. Then we talk about marine renewable energy, and there are talks about investing in offshore wind, tidal, and wave energy. And when you go to our coast, you see the wave action is so high. So we are trying to get government and private partners to look into this, right? And Nigeria being a key partner is, once we start it, other people in the Gulf of Guinea, I'm sure we're going to key into this too. And another one is climate change vulnerability and adaptation. So Nigerian research addresses environmental changes about oil pollution, oil spill remediation, coastal erosion management, and community-led adaptation strategies. And of course, we integrate indigenous knowledge with technology and coastal adaptation. This strengthens resilience and ensures equitable climate benefits. So, what are the strategic recommendations for COP30 alignment? We recommend that to strengthen research infrastructure, this to support innovation in marine biotechnology, oceanography, and renewable energy through collaboration amongst the research institutes, government, and private sector. Integrate traditional and scientific knowledge, combine generations of marine resource management experience in Nigerian coastal communities with scientific research for culturally appropriate climate solutions. Then develop regional collaboration, leverage Nigeria's Gulf of Guinea position to lead regional ocean observation networks and data sharing, addressing global need for ocean observing systems and
Okay, is it my
network that we've already formed and getting some sourcing for funds to start off some of these innovations. Is called COSIWA. It's a regional-based research consortium. So that's one of the things we're involved in. And another one is to ensure, we want to ensure that research directly informs policy frameworks, balancing economic development with environmental sustainability, as communicated by the establishment of Nigeria's Federal Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy, which is where my institute is domiciled. So, by situating the Nigerian marine research with COP30's implementation framework, Nigeria can advance global ocean climate solutions while supporting its own sustainable development goals. This approach creates a model for other coastal developing nations, right? And other developing nations facing similar challenges, highlighting the essential role of science-based policies and regional cooperation in strengthening the blue economy and delivering effective climate solutions. Thank you.
Yes, Thank you so much, Dr. Ngozi. That was really a handful and very, very, very insightful, because I love the fact that you mentioned that we need to look into solutions that are culturally relevant, which shows that we need to tailor some solutions that has to do with the blue economy and the oceans to the problems of Nigeria and Africa at large. So we're tailoring the solutions to the problem in the context of the region where it is applicable, not just adopting what works in the global north for us say that might not be applicable in the global south. So it's very, very important. And we also merge traditional knowledge and scientific knowledge, knowing fully well that those that live in the coastal regions, they have the indigenous experience, where we also have the sciences. So I mean, it's also buttresses what Dr. Noja has said earlier, that we need to work together. It is a very, very much holistic problem that we are solving. Thank you so much, Dr. Ngozi. And right about now, I'm going to move in straight to Mark. So while we were gathering our speaker, looking at who to invite, and then so we saw, oh, we have, I mean, I've attended a Sustainable Ocean Alliance program here in Nigeria. The Nigerian Hub had an event, and it was very, very insightful. We spoke about deep seabed mining. And since then, I have been very much glued to SOA. I've always looked forward to what they do. And I say that the young people over there, I mean, it's a young person organization that have been doing a lot in terms of making sure that, you know, we make sure ocean literacy, climate action, all of these things are very, very much spoken about, and we have solutions that are also, you know, very much related to what we need, not just in Nigeria, in Africa, but then globally. So Mark was a very, very good fit because he is much more experienced also and has a very, very global exposure. So we thought, oh, since this is a diverse panel, who best is going to handle or speak on behalf of the young people? So Mark, it's so good to have you here once again. So I mean, as the youth leader here, you are going to be representing the voice of millions of young people all over the world. And thank God you are also in COP. I mean, it's good to know that you are following the conversation over there. So from the aspect of young people, what are the emerging trends, you know, outside of what Dr. Noja discussed earlier? Or I mean, it can also cover that, or commitments on ocean conservation, climate action, ocean literacy that you think you find most promising for youth-led initiatives like SOA and the Lekan Bakare Foundation as well, and to other NGOs that are on the call currently listening to us. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I have to say, even though I'm here at COP30 in Belém, to be on this webinar and see how much you all are working on the ocean climate nexus in Nigeria and Africa is really inspiring. You know, there are many people who can't be here at COP, and we only hear a sliver of what people are doing, right, for ocean climate action. And to be on this webinar and hear about how you all are so deeply involved in building that sustainable ocean economy, about how you're advancing ocean climate action, it really reminds me just how big this movement really is. And it feels so inspiring to see the incredible work that you are doing. So I'm more than happy through SOA to be representing that youth voice and ensuring that we represent this community that truly is global and fighting for ocean climate action. In terms of answering the question about what emerging trends for ocean conservation, ocean climate action that I see here, I'm here to report good news. It really seems like the ocean climate movement at COP30 is not just for ocean people. Climate youth are adopting the ocean into how they advocate for climate action. I mean, one of the big science breakthroughs ahead of COP30 was announcing that the planetary boundary for ocean acidification has been reached, and that we have reached Earth's first tipping point, the degradation, irreversible degradation of coral reefs. This is huge news, and it underscores the urgency of why climate action is so urgent now more than ever. And young people are talking about ocean and planetary health, and I'm going around to pavilions, and it's not just the ocean pavilion that is talking about the ocean. And even though this COP seems to be focused on the Amazon, I have seen so many indigenous and Amazonian leaders mention the interconnectedness between their ecosystems, the tropical rainforests, and the ocean. And so it's really wonderful to see that the ocean is not just this sidelined conversation. It is at the center of climate conversations here at COP30. And I think that when it comes to young people engaging in ocean climate action, there are definite trends, such as alignment with the Ocean Breakthrough. The Ocean Breakthrough is an initiative led by the high-level climate champions in partnership with civil society, and it really looks to accelerate ocean climate action in 5 sectors: offshore renewable energy, as well as the phase out of offshore oil and gas, aquatic food systems, decarbonizing shipping, decarbonizing coastal tourism, and of course, supporting marine conservation. Young people are really trying to understand how can we support those 5 different sectors and plug into different breakthroughs that are looking to accelerate that implementation. There are all different types of breakthroughs that are more specific in the larger ocean breakthrough, such as the mangrove breakthrough, the coral breakthrough, the salt marsh breakthrough was just launched at this COP. And so I think young people are trying to figure out how do we participate in those breakthroughs to understand how we can support acceleration. And the last thing I'll say as well is that one trend here specifically at COP30 is that young leaders are ready to join the campaign to commit to ocean. It's a campaign that I've been leading after 5 years of participating in these COPs. I saw that there was this need for education, communication, awareness, and advocacy centered in youth-led movements. And now it really seems like we're breaking that bubble, and we have over 420 people, 440 people who have signed our open letter, and we hope that you all will join us so that way we can make sure that the voice for the ocean is loud and clear. I'll be excited to share more about how you can join that campaign in the chat.
Yes, absolutely. Please feel free to share in the chat, feel free to share via email, and let's see how we can, continue this conversation on how young people, youth can accelerate the solutions that we are looking forward to in the context of the blue economy. And I really love that you brought it down towards the end in terms of advocacy, education, and youth-led movement, because even if we gather for global events such as COP, you have to make sure that you implement these projects at the grassroots level, because that is really where it happens: the grassroots, the national, the subnational, and then at the global phase. Thank you so much, Mark, for those wonderful points that you have shared. So while I allow you to take the back seat for now, I'd like to bring up Mr. Shashore Idris Olarewaju. So he's going to be speaking from the perspective of government and also what LOMA is doing. So for context, and those who do not know, LOMA handles the waste management in Lagos State, and then they have a department called the Marine Waste Services. Now that marine is being integrated into every nook and cranny of the government sector. And whenever we have beach cleanup, we see Mr. Lanre there. It's very, very supportive. The department is supportive. LOMA. So it also shows that the government is really, really working with non-governmental organizations like ours that are working. So, I mean, this is to openly say that Lagos State, where I'm in, where LBF is domiciled, the government is really supportive in terms of beach cleanups and every program that we have in this ecosystem. So, Mr. Lanre, you can, yes, unmute your mic. So far, so good. Your department has been addressing coastal and marine pollution in Lagos State. And so can you speak to us about the practices that are really proven effective over time? And also with your years of experience or field experience in terms of operations and strategy and in LOMA that are promoting ocean resilience. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Esther. Thanks for having me as one of your panelists. And before I respond to your question, I would like to appreciate the Lekan Bakare for previous partnership on my waste evacuation statewide with my agency. They have been one of our major partners in promoting cleaner and healthier coastal areas, especially at low communities. First of all, I'd like to let you know that the Lagos metropolis is encompassed with an area of 3,577 square kilometers, in which 17% is naturally aquatic, that is the ocean, river, lagoon, etc. Hence, the initiative of marine waste was conceived to regularly cut away floating waste, refuse from block channels, and coastal line to prevent flooding in anticipation of heavy rains and in line with the state policy direction on constant cleanup of waterways to enhance a cleaner, improved aesthetics of the environment with a view to harnessing potentials of the blue economy. The idea of marine waste was conceived in November 2010 when the city of Lagos was submerged. Presently, the marine waste services adopt a modern approach for onshore, offshore waste collection for biodiversity and overall health of thriving aquatic ecosystem. So some of the initiatives from our own hand is number one, engaging riverine dwellers for collection of waste at shorelines and coastal communities. Because number one, we look at if our workers are proficient when it comes to swimming, that is when we take them to the shoreline and clear waste regularly. Then number two, we have the total number of 20 boats, fiber boards, house engine, and the specifications are 2 strokes and 4 stroke. What we do is that we attach rafts to these boats and ensure we go to all these shorelines. At least we service the 5 calories, the shoreline, Sabon Koji, all these areas are coastal communities. And what we also notice when we go there is that they use refuge for what's it called, land reclamation. And for us to get it right, we have to ensure that our monitoring teams are sent there to address this issue. Then aside from that, we also use screen to protect waste. Screens are used at water inlets to prevent waste from going into the ocean. If you look at the 5 calories, for example, we have a total number of 32 water inlets into that 5 calories. So the screens will serve as like bait. So waste won't be able to go into the water bodies. And number four, we look at advocacy. Advocacy is very, very key when it comes to prevention of use of land for use of refuse for this land reclamation. Then number five, manual drag rates. These are also they are long fabricated waste that we use to ensure that these waste are rid of our shorelines. Then we also have like a standby mammoth. The standby mammoth, what because whenever waste are being collected, we just use the standby mammoth to ensure that the waste are evacuated to our landfill sites. So let's leave it at that for now, sir.
Yes. Thank you so much, Talari. In fact, I've been writing since this panel has started, and my notepad is almost full. I mean, this is a actually, and I'm really happy that we have a lot of these points and strategies that you have shared. And I was shocked when you said we have 32 water inlets into that particular calories. Wow, I didn't know. I mean, it's good that we are having this discussion so that we can also learn and also learn a couple of things that we didn't know and we learn as well. Thank you so much for that. So let me look into the chat. We have a lot of questions coming in. Let's keep them coming in, and we are going to ensure that our panelists do justice to them before we end this webinar session. So I'd like to bring Didi back to the spotlights. Dr. Nojasa.
Yes, I'm here.
Right, thank you so much, sir. So I want to narrow down this question now to, I mean, I have seen personally what NCF is doing. NCF is one of our very valued partner in LBF. And but for the sake of our audience as well, who would also like to know more about NCF's programs, conservation programs, community programs, and would like for you to also share from your experience of leading this very vibrant, body called the NCF on models that best link biodiversity protection with sustainable livelihood in coastal areas. Fully well that you mentioned TRIO of climate change, biodiversity, and desertification. So how can we link? What are the things that NCF has done so far, and what are the models that you think best bring all of these things together for us to also make sure that for those in the coastal areas, they have a very, very good sustainable standard of living? Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. So for the sake of this conversation, I'm going to narrow it down to just, I'll leave desert for now because desert, I mean, is the northern part of the country, even though we have coastal erosion happening in the southern part of the country. And that is, of course, due to the issues of the sea rise and all of that and our degrading mangrove ecosystem that we have. But one thing that we do as part of our conservation efforts, we try to tie in communities into it. And our message into these communities is the fact that we protect Mother Nature, so Mother Nature will protect us at the end of the day. And I continue to say every opportunity I have that when we talk about environmental protection, we are not actually saying environmental protection. We're actually saying human protection because the environment will always protect itself because the environment has the capacity to protect itself. However, if we allow the environment to protect itself, it will do it by getting rid of us. So it's in our own self-interest that we protect the environment so that the environment will protect us. And that's the message we take out to these communities, especially mangrove communities who are living in a mangrove ecosystem, because we're talking about the ocean, the marine, the coastal environment, and so on, so that we'll be able to see how well we can do to ensure that all our mangrove ecosystem continue to protect the communities because they serve as a barrier, as a buffer between the land and the ocean, if I'll just put it in the clear terms. There are some technical barriers here and there, but the mangrove ecosystem helps us in doing that. And it helps us also to be able to serve as nursery for our aquatic ecosystem or our aquatic life. And that's why it's very important. So along the coastline of Nigeria, we've been involved in a lot of projects that help us to be able to integrate the issues of climate change, climate resilience, yes, climate change, climate resilience, and community resilience when it comes to climate change and biodiversity conservation. One of the things that we do is that we normally have what we call our annual waterbed counts. So our annual waterbed counts along the coastline of Nigeria. Nigeria lies on what we call the East Atlantic Flyway, where from the Arctic down to South Africa, there's what we call the East Atlantic Flyway, where birds during the migratory season, during the winter season in the northern part of the globe, they migrate south because of it's always summer around here. It's always the weather is always conducive. So they migrate south. So in that migration, they meet different habitats. And if those habitats are not what they are supposed to be, the population of these birds will continue to decline into extinction. So there's this partnership along the flyway that will continue to monitor their population as they go back and forth because they're very important for the ecosystem as well. So while we do that, we integrate the communities as well into it. So we have 7 monitoring sites along the coast in Nigeria. And those 7 monitoring sites happen to be areas of our mangrove restoration efforts as well along the coastline of Nigeria, from Badagry all the way to Calabar, that we normally have these areas. Also, we work with fisher folks who because that is their livelihood in terms of fishing. So what we try to do is to provide like solar refrigerators for them, because one of the things that they do is that they harvest mangroves to be able to dry their fish or their aquatic marine life that they've harvested. So in trying to ensure that they preserve it, they harvest a lot of mangroves and then they smoke them. So that is leading to mangrove degradation as well. So we try to provide those alternate source of livelihoods for them. I will talk about also sea turtle conservation, where we have a lot of, sometimes there are bycatches. Their nets normally catch the turtles, and by so doing, their nets are normally destroyed. Not to encourage poaching, we don't buy or we don't pay them for the turtle. What we do is that we normally pay them for their nets or their gears that have been destroyed. That way we think that it's more sustainable, and making them our ambassadors as well, so that we are not just encouraging them to whenever they find the opportunity, they will just go and catch those turtles. And sometimes these turtles come to our beach to lay eggs, and we're also trying to make them our ambassadors. So when they see these turtles coming, they protect them from other members of the communities as well. So in the context of this discussion, these are some of the things that we do in terms of trying to protect our coastal resources, our marine resources, and the communities along our coast.
Thank you so much, sir, for this that you have shared. I mean, I was really noting them, and I was very caught in the conversation, but most especially when you started with saying that if we allow the environment to take care of us, it will get rid of us. I mean, to my amazing panelists and the audience, do we want the environment to get rid of us? No. So whatever we have to do, all hands on deck to ensure that we take care of the environment so that it will not get rid of us. Please let us put all of those into action, and to also make sure that we work together with youth-led organizations, with the government, with the research, with academia, to ensure that the planet is well catered for, because we do not have anywhere. I know Elon Musk is working on relocating us all to Mars, but I don't think I want to go to Mars, because I mean, how am I going to take the buildings? How are we going to take the infrastructures down there to Mars? So we have no planet B. Let's take care of the Earth. Let's take care of Mother Earth so that it will not get rid of us. Thank you so much, Dr. Onaja, for those points that you have stated, and that also making these fisher folks ambassadors so that they can also relate all of this to their fellow fisher folks in other communities, and then they continue to spread the gospel of ensuring that these sea turtles and the other fragile marine organisms are not being pushed or eaten, so that we don't have a disruption within the ecosystem. So speaking about the youth networks, about the global youth networks, and how young people can also collaborate or contribute into the ongoing conversation, I'd like to bring up Mark again, because we have a lot of young people who are in the house, and I can see from the chat that the energy is high. We have a lot of students from various institutions in Nigeria, and people who also work in the corporates that want to know how they can be part as a young person. So what are those innovative approaches or solutions that the youths are bringing, from COP outside, for those of us that do not attend in person? So what are these approaches and solutions that we can bring out of there, into the real world? Because COP is 2 weeks. So we shouldn't be discussing about blue economy or ocean literacy 2 weeks, out of the whole 365 days. That's 365 minus 14 is very, very low percentage. So how can we bring up to speed the conversation post-COP, and to accelerate ocean-based climate adaptation and resilience strategies? Over to you, Mark. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a great question. And I know that this question is far-reaching, but I am going to have to answer this question and then leave. Unfortunately, there's another meeting that I need to go to here about the agenda for ocean climate action at UN Climate Change over like the next 5 years. So I want to make sure that our voices are represented from this event. But to answer your question, I think that there are really a variety of ways. I think that really the focus for young people should be on implementation and advocacy. I think that when it comes to implementation, when we have these threats to ocean health, the work that is being led by communities like yours is the most important. We cannot wait until 2030 when there might be funding coming from these huge multilateral climate finance mechanisms like the Global Environment Facility or the Green Climate Fund to do the necessary ocean climate action work. We don't have 5 years to do the ecosystem restoration that provides the adaptation and resilience for our communities in a changing climate. Those need to happen now. And I think that an example from the region, like SOA Tanzania, I had the honor of representing them at one of the panels here since they couldn't make it to COP30. But they are leading amazing, amazing work and ensuring that they're receiving grants from places like the UNDP Equator Initiative or Re-Earth Initiative to ensure that they're getting the funding to scale the incredible marine conservation work that they're leading that is creating that climate adaptation and resilience, not in 2030, but right now. And so I really think that continuing to look into how community-led ocean-based climate solutions can go to climate initiatives for funding, I think is critical to support that necessary ocean climate action on the ground now. I would also say that it, of course, depends on philanthropy from these larger organizations, but you can't wait for them to give you money. You have to demand it. And advocacy looks different in different regions. This I understand. The context in Nigeria is different from the context in the US or in Latin America. But we have activism as a tool. And by understanding how we can leverage our communities to send clear messages, whether it's through emails, letters, in-person events. You guys have done an incredible job at bridging local communities and government officials to make sure that our perspectives are represented for ocean climate action. How can we ensure that we are informed of what ways in which Nigeria is discussing its climate commitments and asking for ocean-based climate solutions to be represented? Paying attention to NDCs, NAPs, sustainable ocean management and planning, being involved in that process. And whether or not you are involved, making sure that your voice is being heard loud and clear is a way that the government can understand, oh, wow, our community is telling us what our priorities should be. And I think that you all are doing a really good job of doing that in a diplomatic, community-led way and in partnership with the government. So I think doing more and more of that is really critical. And of course, being able to demonstrate that support on social media is always a great way to define the narrative. And so I think with all those strategies, you all will be well posited to be able to support the movement for ocean climate action and ensure that what you say is not just part of the global movement, but will be recognized by officials to accelerate ocean climate action. And the last thing I'll say too is that we can talk in a circle about ocean, ocean, ocean. We can all talk to each other all day long about the ocean, but the financiers need to be there. Have these conversations with Nigeria's finance ministry. Have these conversations with philanthropies. I mean, you all are a foundation, so check. Have this conversation with multilateral development banks and other banks in Nigeria. And I think that inviting them to the conversation will produce tangible results. So that way it's not just we're doing these actions on the ground because we care, but we're doing these actions on the ground and we need to get them financed now. That's what I would recommend. I have to go, but I want to thank you all so much. I feel blessed to be able to share these insights, and I look forward to being able to share what you all shared with me in my meetings here.
Yes, thank you so much, Mark. I mean, it's quite sad to see you go now, but we had very, very good conversations with you, and I look forward to us continuing this. I'll definitely keep in touch via email, and then we'll see what we can do together. Thank you so, so much. Please, can we, just say bye to Mark as he leaves? And we're continuing. The webinar has not ended. Dear attendees, let's stay, but Mark
Yes.
just has to leave, yes. And I'm so glad that you've really spoken on behalf of millions of young people. I mean, myself inclusive, I've heard what you said, and these are things that we have also noted at the Lekan Bakare Foundation, and will implement them in our strategies going forward. Thank you so much for your time. And implementation and advocacy is key. And again, ocean projects, climate projects generally are not cheap. So I love that you ended with the part. In my mind, I'm like, is Mark not going to talk about financing? We need money to execute these projects. These things are not cheap. A lot of funds are needed. So thank you. If you have questions for you, I will share them via email, and then you can answer, and then we'll give it back to the community as well. So thank you, Mark. Thank you so much. And let me take the mic back to Dr. Ngozi, where as we're wrapping up the conversation already. I wish it can go on and on, because this has been very, very good one. We have learned a lot, and we're also taking up more, but we cannot really do anything without the role of science and research, because we need science-based evidences, not just things that are concussion from somewhere and then we'll bring it up. In fact, there's also a science part of climate. So for everything that we'll do in the climate space, there's a science to it. You need to understand, and you can also see that all of our speakers, they have a background either in education or, that corroborates the experience that they have on the field. So Science cannot be ruled out. And so, Dr. Ngozi, for research institutions like NIOMR and the government, NGOs and civil society, what are those actionable policies, like policies that, because we've said that this COP is a COP of implementation. We're not just we've highlighted, I mean, this panel is even solution focused. I really love the panelists. We didn't have a lot of people focusing on, we didn't even have conversation on the problems. These are things that have worked from everyone's organizations that have been shared. So going forward and moving forward, how can we all work together? For us in LBF are very big on partnership. So for other government bodies and institutions, what are those specific insights that we can work with and policies that we advance ocean resilience post COP30? In fact, post this webinar that we are having, both at the national level and at the global level as well. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Esther, for the question. So to answer you, translating scientific insights into actionable policies and initiatives that advance ocean resilience and the blue economy requires structured and multi-stakeholder collaboration, like Mark rightly pointed out. And this is at both national and at global levels, right? Research institutes, government, civil society, each play critical roles in this process. And the following structural strategies outline how these partners can work together to ensure scientific knowledge is leveraged for impactful evidence-based policy and implementation. So one, establish knowledge sharing platforms, joint forums and networks, develop platforms such as conferences, workshops, and online portals to facilitate regular dialogue amongst scientists, policymakers, and civil society. And we're actually doing it now, like what we're doing, okay? So kudos to LBF. And these forums enable the exchange of research findings and identification of policy needs, data sharing agreements, create frameworks for open access to marine data, allowing all stakeholders to access accurate and timely information essential for informed decision making. Then two, co-design policy-oriented research. Stakeholder-driven research aligns scientific investigations with the real-world challenges faced by communities and policymakers to ensure that research outcomes are relevant and actionable. Participatory approaches engage civil society and local communities in setting research priorities, ensuring that policy formulation reflects both local needs and ecological realities. Three, capacity building and technical support. Training programs provide opportunities for policymakers, civil society, and local stakeholders to develop the skills needed to interpret scientific data and implement evidence-based actions. Technical assistance supply expert support to help translate scientific findings into practical policy instruments, such as regulations, marine protected areas, or sustainable fisheries management strategies. Then four, pilot projects and demonstration initiatives. Test and scale solutions. Launch pilot programs to demonstrate effective ocean resilience strategies. Example, mangrove restoration, sustainable fisheries, fishing practices, and jointly evaluate their outcome. Then shared success models. Use successful case studies to advocate for adoption of these strategies at broader scales, promoting widespread policy uptake. Then five, policy advocacy and communication. Joint advocacy campaigns. Work collaboratively to raise awareness about critical issues such as marine pollution, climate impacts, and biodiversity loss, influencing both national and international agenda. Effective communication. Simplify scientific findings into accessible messaging for policymakers. This is very, very important. And the public supporting informed decision making and greater public engagement. 6, aligning funding and resources. Because we have very limited funds and resources, we have to go into collaborating funding, pull financial resources from government, donors, and civil society to support research and implementation projects that are aligned with policy objective, incentivize innovation, promote and support initiatives that encourage sustainable economic activities within the blue economy, driving innovation and inclusive growth. Then 7, engage in international collaboration, contribute scientific expertise to global platforms such as the COP, UN Ocean conferences, ensuring that international and regional policies are grounded in robust science. Monitor and evaluate. Establish joint mechanisms for monitoring and evaluating the effectiveness of implemented policies. Adapting strategies as needed based on scientific feedback. So in summary, fostering transparent, inclusive, and sustained collaboration amongst research institutes, governments, and civil society ensures that scientific knowledge effectively informs policies and initiatives. This approach strengthens ocean resilience and supports the sustainable growth of the blue economy at both national and global levels. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ngozi, for those very, very great points that you have highlighted. First of all, you spoke about knowledge sharing and platforms. And for us here at Lekan Bakare Foundation, we are very, very big on knowledge because we know that it is when we are informed that we're able to take action and even implement. So we have the Ocean Youth Academy. It's in the pipeline. It's going to launch very soon for young people because I noticed you really spoke about the technical aspect of it, piloting projects and all of that. So you all should watch out, my beautiful audience, watch out for the Ocean Youth Academy from the Lekan Bakare Foundation. We are going to be bringing, in fact, Dr. Ngozi is also going to be part of our speakers and our mentors that is going to speak during that academy so that we can have young people and we have solutions that are being piloted by that are taken up in terms of the scientific community and not just advocacy or awareness and all of that. So thank you so much, Dr. Ngozi, for this very, very insightful points. In fact, thank you to all of our dear panelists. We're going to move. I see a lot of questions, and some of these questions are also aligned with the panel question that I have. So it is really in the best option to ask the questions here. And of course, I do not forget our audience on YouTube. We have people that joined us on YouTube. Thank you for joining. This webinar is also streamed live. And so, yes, we'll go straight into the questions from our participants, where you can also use the chats to share your thoughts, to share your inquiries that are related to ocean resilience, to climate adaptation, and of course, the blue economy. A lot has been said, and I tell you, we can keep going on and on and on, but a lot of these things are really currently aligned with what needs to be heard about now. So I would like to take the first question, and this will be directed, I see it in the chat, so it will be directed to Mr. Olarewaju, and then we have one for Dr. Onaja, and then we have the other for Dr. Ngozi, and we will call it a day because I know a lot of these questions, they intersect and they will be answered together. Mr. Olarewaju, there's a question here for you. Well, it's coming from the aspect of the recently concluded He1 competition, and since you lead the Marine Waste Department in Loma, you are the best fits for this question. So this person, Mr. Vincent Hagorom, is saying, how do we sustain what Lagos State government did in the coastal cleanup during the just concluded He1 competition? Because the water was polluted during that. We have the mess all around, and now it is flooding the waterway. So Mr. Vincent is asking that, how do we sustain what they go? Because sustainable tourism too is key. It was very good for the economy. People came from all over the world into Nigeria. They came to Lagos State. We hosted them. It all went well. But then we had waste that, that was there. And of course, this was cleaned up. Loma did a good job doing that. But how do we sustain all of these things so that it doesn't keep recurring, and then we have a very good event, and then another problem is created afterwards? Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Esther, for that. First of all, I'd like to thank you again for inviting me to join you at this webinar. For the E1, I did mention that we screen no fewer than 32 water inlets into the water body, that's the 5 calories. So for us to sustain that, the screens were there to prevent waste into the water body, that's the 5 calories. And for us to have, in fact, the E1 has even given the state government an international recognition. So for us to do that, we have to improve on our connection. Like I rightly said, in fact, I want to also use this medium to thank the FIBRA, because during the one event, they also supported us with like 10 tweets. They added it to what we use in cutting away that refuse. And apart from that, government cannot do it alone. We mustn't deceive ourselves, because number one, we notice that most of houses at the coastal line, they dump waste indiscriminately into the water bodies, and this is actually affecting it's really affecting our jobs. And during the E1, it was even an eye opener for us at the government side, because we even know that we even noticed that most of this septic waste is being discharged into the water body, and a lot of things around. But at least I want to thank the governor of Lagos State, my MD, in a steadfast when by ensuring that we go there as early as possible and to ensure that this waste is being collected. There are areas where we even use net, and the white guys, the organizers of that event, they had to even commend them, because we had to engage these riverine dwellers. In fact, like over 100, to ensure that these waste are being carted regularly. E1 has already showcased Lagos State as a whole. So we are looking at another E1 for year 2026. At least we noticed some of the challenges during the program, and we are going to provide solutions to most of these challenges noticed. So the E1 has really been a very good platform for us to showcase the marine waste services. Like I rightly said again, those living in the riverine communities to stop dumping indiscriminately into the water bodies. At least let them endeavor to sort their waste, and aside from that, to patronize assigned PSP, normal assigned PSP. There is no need for you to take opportunity of because you are living at the coastal area to start discharging waste, because we have to protect aquatic flora and fauna regularly. And we also have to reduce epidemics, because by the time you discharge waste, you notice cholera, meningitis, and malaria. So let's endeavor to keep our waterways clean and sparkling. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for this point that you have raised. I love that you also mentioned that the government cannot do it alone. Governments, both individuals, organizations, from the corporates, from the non-government angle, from the research and academia. And I'm very happy that apart from this panel being a diverse, even the audience is a diverse one. So, and for those that are living by the coastal bodies, please, I'm also echoing on behalf of Loma, and as a good citizen of Nigeria and Lagos State, do not, if I want to believe that we don't have anyone in the audience that dumps his or her refuse into the water bodies. All of these things keeps coming back. Whatever we give to the ocean, it brings back to us. Remember, Dr. Onaja said that if we do not want if we want the environment to clean itself, it will get rid of us. And I'm sure none of us wants to be gotten rid of. So please, and also patronize assigned PSP. Do not patronize all these informal waste pickers. All of these guys, they gather all these things, they dump them in unauthorized land.
Drainage channels.
Yes, general channels on the median, the middle of the road. They just look for
Yes, middle of the
they
road.
drop them. So please and please, as good citizens of Lagos State, we are also putting up our voice there, putting our voice there from the LBF as well. Ensure that you patronize assigned PSP. If you do not have PSP assigned to you, feel free to reach out to Loma. They are going to do justice today and assign one to your local government. One thing that we always do in LBF when we go for all of this coastal cleanup that we do, we make sure that we get a truck from Loma. So they are going to come there. In fact, the last intercoastal cleanup day that we did, we were in Ilaje, and during that cleanup, we had people that brought their waste out. The truck was full. We went there to do a cleanup, and people brought out the waste in their houses. They were dumping it into the Loma truck. So this is our shared responsibility. Taking care of the planet taking care of Lagos is our shared responsibility. So please let us also ensure that we will not leave it for the government and Loma alone to do. I hope that has answered your question, Mr. Vincent. Thank you so much. And you also mentioned
Sorry,
that. Okay, yes, please go ahead, sir.
sorry, I would like to also chip in something. Maybe we'll give out our contact details in case you want to reach out to Norma. That's 07080601020. And you can also reach us via email www.norma.gov.ng. So if you have any problem regarding your waste, please kindly reach us through this number again, 07080601020. It's a toll-free line, so you are not going to be charged for this.
That's right. It's a toll-free line. My dear Nigerians, it's a toll-free line. Feel free to call Loma 060601020. We're also going to put up, our voice. We lend our voice. We are going to have it on LBF social media platforms as well. To also ensure that we patronize assigned PSP. Assigned PSP, not just informal ways. We know them. I don't want to mention the popular name they are being. Oh, yes, those ones that pushes truck. Let's not just mention them, but we already know who we are referring to. Please do not patronize them. They do a lot of harm than good. Thank you so
the
much.
environment.
Yes, the environment, yes, and even the human health in general. So I would like Dr. Onaja to answer this question because he's someone that is very, very globally inclined. He has traveled, he has been to a lot of negotiations on behalf of the country, and is well exposed and is vast in this sector that we are in terms of achieving the SDG. Doctor, sir, someone said here that do we think creating without proper creating awareness within the citizens or to the citizens and campaigning behavioral change? I need to rephrase this question. Do you think without proper creating awareness within the citizens and campaigning behavioral change? Okay, so in a nutshell, this person is saying that can Nigeria achieve the SDG objective in the areas of marine and economy, SDG 14, everything that is intertwined with the coastal region, the blue economy? Because this Agenda 2030, we are like 5 years or 4 years away to this agenda. Can we achieve this? This is a question that also crosses my mind for those of us that we are within this space. Is this something that is visible, or we are just going to gather in 2030 and say, oh, we didn't do this, or we did not do that? Over to you, sir.
Right. Yeah. Thank you very much. You see, the issue of awareness is something that will continue to resonate always that we talk about, because when you talk about the issues of environmental protection, biodiversity protection, climate issues, they are not standing on their own. They have to be driven by people, and people need to know what their engagement are or what their responsibilities are in all of this engagement. And even the SDG goal 17 says leaving no one behind. Even in terms of knowledge, we don't leave anybody behind. We have to carry everybody along. So awareness has a big role to play. And that is why anytime I want to talk, I battle between using normal street language that everybody will understand than using the big technical jargons that only people around the space will understand. And that is why I'm investing heavily on our communications department to be able to coin communications that everybody will understand. The man on the street will understand exactly what we are talking about, so that will be carried along. So that's the kind of thing. So awareness is very, very important. We cannot overemphasize the role of awareness, because, as I said, people are the ones who are going to be at the heart of this implementation, and then they need to be carried along since we are not leaving anybody behind. In terms of the implementation, by the time we see heightened awareness in terms of the implementation of the SDGs, then we are hoping that we'll be able to make that happen. This SDG started with Millennium Development Goal from SDGs, then it's expired to SDGs. So when we see that we're getting close there and then we're not able to meet it, we'll have to bring up some other goals and targets for us to be able to do. Hopefully, we're hoping that we'll be able to push. The major thing that is mitigating against the meeting of these targets is funds, finances, and so on. Even for the awareness to be created, finances also has to be involved in it. So that is a very strong mitigating factor in all of this. But in our little way, each one telling one, all of us will be on the same page, and that will continue to create that awareness. And every opportunity we have like this, we'll continue to create that space. And then making a simplified language, where, as I said, so that the man on the streets will be able to understand what we're talking about.
Thank you so much, in a simplified language, leaving no one behind. So it is achievable. It is achievable, Karim Yoda. It is very much achievable. This webinar convening is also part of the ways by which we are creating behavioral change, because I agree with you, behavioral change is very, very important, most especially on the aspect of the citizens, for us to make sure that things are being done right. So I see a couple of comments. Thank you for the insightful conversation, for emphasizing the need for youth-focused ocean conservation and awareness. Okay, and there's also a comment from Karim Yoda that says, as part of solutions, government should introduce polluter must pay principle on ocean polluters, especially the ships, oil companies, etc., and the tax should be paid directly to the organization in charge of ocean pollution. I agree with you. Polluter must pay principle. I mean, these are part of the things that we learn. I remember during my, my master's also, we did a course under environmental law, where we spoke about polluter must pay. Those who cause the damage. And these are part of the things that we discuss when we go for global event, that people that are causing the issues, that are causing the problems, they should pay for it, because citizens who do not know about it, who did not contribute up to 2% of it, are the ones that end up suffering. So thank you, Yoda. Your comment is very much valid. As we prepare to round up this very, very insightful webinar, let me see reactions from the audience. I'm sure we're getting value for our time. We've been on this conversation for a little bit above 1 hour. Can I see you? Thank you so much for those reactions. We've gotten value for your time. This conversation is not ending here. For us, we'll be seeing some calls from our speakers. We also put a voice with the Loma to toll-free line. We share it out there. We'll keep interacting and keep engaging with our partners that are on this call. And then again, watch out for the Ocean Youth Academy. Also, we're having a beach cleanup. It's coming up next week, Saturday. Join hands together with us. Let us keep the life below water and coastal environment very clean. And these webinars like this is not going to be the end. We're going to have one in December to wrap up the year, what we have done so far. Also get more insights. We are very, very open. LBF is not a closed organization. We are open to receiving more ideas, strategies, and feedback from our beautiful community, such as you, our audience. So feel free to to reach out to us if you have comments, and join into the end of the year webinar, so that we can also have ideas that we can take into 2026, and then we'll make the blue economy a more thriving ecosystem and environment, the environment at large. So we have one more question now, just to wrap up. I think we should take this to Dr. Ngozi, so that she can also share our thoughts on this, and then we can now have final words. This is looking very much academic. I'm seeing, how can we convert our ocean eDNA into data and jobs? Well, thank God Dr. Ngozi is here. She's going to do justice to that. I'm seeing, the last time I heard DNA was in biology, so I never
environmental DNA. Yeah, is the in thing now. Is one of the things that is kind of coming up. It's good. I want to be into it. A lot of people want to be into it, but there is a challenge. The challenge is funds. It's a fund. I'm actually talking to some people to attract some funding for us to carry out do some capacity, like I said before, capacity building is something that we need to do here. And I'm very passionate about capacity building. So I'm talking with some organizations to be able to attract funds, to bring people that are versed in eDNA to come to Nigeria, to teach our researchers on the right way, the right protocol. Because sometimes you do some things, but you're not doing it with the right way, the acceptable way. Because now most of the things we do now, we have the protocols that is accepted everywhere. So if you deviate from it, your whatever the data you're generating cannot be used. Okay, so this is what we are trying to do. We're trying to build the data for Nigeria, for West Africa. Then after getting the data, then we can now take it to the next level. And I would like to speak on something. I said I was going to answer it. Low-hanging fruits, what we can do. There are things that we can do that does not really require us to have to have a lot of funds. We can first of all reach out to you all know who is representing you, starting from your local government chairman, from your councillor. Reach out to them, talk to them about your concerns, get them involved in whatever you're doing. Your councillor, your local government chairman, your House of Rep person, your senator, your governor, the minister, the commissioner. And here you can see Mr. Larry has given us his number. You reach out to him, reach out to Dr. Joseph, reach out to the people that have spoken here and share your concerns with them and tap into the resources they have and see how you can collaborate with them to get results. And let us stop working in silos. You have an idea, share with people. You can never know who can help you. Okay, and let us encourage citizen science. This our cell phone that we have. Let's use it instead of recording whatever. Let us use it positively. You see birds, record the birds. Record, you go out to the sea, you see some things on the beaches, some flora and fauna that you've never seen before. Record it. You're a fisher person, you go to the sea to fish. Record what you're doing. Record your daily life. You can never tell what you can use with it tomorrow, because we, the scientists, the researchers, we need data every time. Thank you so much.
Ma'am, thank you for sharing. I mean, I'm so happy that we have you on board to speak about the eDNA. I will have just been speaking from the terms of biology. Thank you. So, which shows that, again, we should not work in silos. We need to come together. Each industries, each ecosystem crisscross to make sure that we have a better planet. So, as we end the webinar, I would like to call on Dr. Onaja for final words from him, so that we can now take the group picture and then we continue the conversation on via DMs, as partners, and on social media as well. Dr. Onaja, sir, final words from you as we end this COP30 webinar. Thank you, sir.
Yes, I just want to congratulate the LBF for, having this convening. It's a discussion that we'll continue to have as we continue to create clear awareness and we'll continue to push. One thing I want to also say is that we can't do this alone. In as much as we're trying to cause synergies on different Rio conventions, we also have to synergize as civil society organizations, as individuals, so that together we'll be able to have a bigger impact and a bigger result. And as NCF, we're always available and ready to partner with all organizations to be able to push this forward. At the end of the day, it is to our best interest that will protect planet Earth, so planet Earth will protect us. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir. I'm very, very happy. Thank you for accepting our invite. I remember when I, walked up to you at the staircase at the conference. I said, sir, we sent you. Yeah, sure. I'll join. Thank you, sir, for always available to share your knowledge, for not holding information or not being not so available. I know how some DJs can be. I'm not available. Speak to me. Thank you, sir. We do not take that access for granted. Thank you so much. On behalf of the foundation, I am wholeheartedly saying thank you to you, sir, for giving us
My pleasure.
and for accepting our collaboration and our partnerships. And so right about now, on behalf of the Lekan Bakare Foundation, I want to say thank you on behalf of our chairman. Thank you so much, Chief Lekan Bakare says. He extends his sincere gratitude to you all, our distinguished panelists, our keynote speaker, and everyone that has joined us today. And today's conversation has really, really highlighted the critical role of oceans in climate action, and also the innovative approaches that the young people, the community, the government, everyone should play and take in translating global communities into local action. So let the conversation continue beyond this session. As I have said, let this discussion continue. Share insights within your networks. Do not hoard information. Do not gatekeep. And let's also make sure that whatever information we are putting out there, there are things that are very much valuable, and we are not misinforming the community. So let's for those of us that were panelists, let's have a video on so that we can take pictures and then we smile to the camera. The LBF team, please can we also have videos on, and then take the picture. For the team online, Mistura, Iola, Victor, and our hosts, let's have cameras on. So we'll say ocean, and then I take the snapshots. Yes, thank you, sir. So,
Ocean.
oh, at the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, you say ocean.
Okay.
That's it. So 1, 2, and 3, ocean.
Ocean.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day. We wish DG a very, very safe journey, a safe flight back to Nigeria from Belém. And we're also expecting our goodies, all the way from Brazil. And then thank you, Dr. Ngozi. Thank you so much, Matt. Thank you, Mr. Larry. I'm going to be in your DM for the beach cleanup, so that we can do something together for Saturday. Thank you to the team. Thank you for all our attendees, and we'll be in your emails. So get ready to get information from our newsletter so that we can, share more information with you. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye. Thank you. Oh, thank you. I can see the love. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Yes, the contacts will be it's in the chat. It will also be on our social media platform. Thank you. Thank you for your kind words, everyone. Yes, I see we still have a couple of persons here. Sign up to for our newsletters to get more information. Yes, in fact, automatically as I've joined the webinar, we have the access to your email, and we're not going to spam your inbox. We're just going to be sharing with you relevant and great information for you to see. And I'm sure you do not want to miss the Ocean Youth Academy and also the other insightful programs that the Lekan Bakare Foundation is planning. So we're going to draw the curtain here and signing out. Bye, everyone. Thank you.